Dreaming is easy, but turning a dream into reality? That's a different story. When I started Alibaba, I had no money, no connections, and no business experience. All I had was a dream of connecting small businesses in China to the world. But dreaming is not enough. The real challenge lies in what you are willing to lose to achieve your goal. I always ask, if you have a dream, what are you willing to sacrifice? Because success does not come for free. Many people give up before even starting, waiting for the perfect moment. But I always say, if not now, when? If not me, who? The truth is, there is no perfect moment. When I told my friends I wanted to create an internet company, they laughed. "Jack, you don't even know what a computer is," they said. But what makes a dream come true is not what you already know. It's what you are willing to learn. The biggest difference between those who achieve their dreams and those who only imagine them is passion and unwavering belief. If you don't believe in your dream, no one else will. I remember when we tried to get investment for Alibaba. We were rejected by more than 30 investors. But I knew our idea had value, so I kept pushing. You have to be the first to believe in your own potential because at the beginning, no one else will do it for you. What kept me standing during the toughest moments was a simple truth. When you have a dream, you never feel poor. Money may be lacking, opportunities may seem distant, but if your purpose is strong enough, you will always find the energy to keep going. Great entrepreneurs, artists, and world leaders all have something in common: the ability to see beyond difficulties and hold on to what they believe in. Now the question is, are you ready to pay the price for your dream? Because the road will be tough. You will face failures, criticism, and moments of doubt. But if your purpose is greater than the obstacles, you will persist. And it is this persistence that separates those who achieve their dreams from those who just daydream. Failing hurts. Being rejected stings. But do you know what's worse? Never trying. I failed so many times that I could have given up at the very beginning. I failed my university entrance exams 3 times. I was rejected 30 times when applying for jobs, including at KFC. 24 people applied, 23 were hired, and I was the only one rejected. Even Harvard turned me down 10 times. But I never let a no define my future. Failure only has power over you if you allow it. When I started Alibaba, we faced enormous challenges. We had no money, no government support, and no business model that people took seriously. But I knew that the secret to success was not just having a great idea. It was having the resilience to keep going when everything seemed impossible. The path of entrepreneurship is like running a marathon. Many start, but few cross the finish line. If you want to win, you need the endurance to push through the hardest miles. I always say that failure is just a stepping stone to success. Every no I received taught me something. Every obstacle made me stronger. If you fall 100 times, get up 101. Successful people are not those who never fail, but those who never quit. The world belongs to those who keep trying, no matter how many doors close. Remember, if you want to catch the rabbit, don't change the rabbit, change yourself. Young people today want quick success. They want shortcuts. But the truth is, there are no shortcuts to the top. Everyone who got there had to endure storms, face rejections, and learn from mistakes. If you want to build something great, you must be willing to fail and keep going. The problem is not falling. It's refusing to get back up. Failure is not the end. It's just part of the journey. So the question you must ask yourself is, will I let failure stop me, or will I use it as fuel? Because in the end, the only thing that separates winners from losers is not talent, money, or luck. It is the ability to move forward when everything tells you to quit. When we started Alibaba, China had no strong digital infrastructure. The internet was slow, and few believed that small businesses could sell online. But I saw a future where technology would give anyone, anywhere, the chance to compete with giants. Many said it was impossible, but I learned one thing. The future belongs to those who see opportunities where others see problems. The mistake many companies make is clinging to the past and resisting change. But innovation waits for no one. If you don't adapt, you disappear. I always say, if you want to succeed in business, you must be one step ahead of change. Companies that don't innovate, that don't evolve, become irrelevant. Look at companies like Nokia or Kodak, giants that fell because they ignored the need for innovation. Technology is the greatest opportunity of our time. When I was young, a small entrepreneur had no chance to compete with a big company. Today, a young person with a smartphone can sell to the entire world. The internet is the great equalizer. If you are starting a business, the question is not whether you should use technology, but how you can use it better than your competitors. Many people fear innovation because they think they don't know enough. But here's the truth. You don't need to be an expert to innovate. You just need to be willing to learn faster than others. When I started Alibaba, I knew nothing about technology, but I hired people who did, and I learned. Innovation doesn't come from knowing everything. It comes from never stopping learning. So if you want to build something lasting, you must embrace innovation. The world is changing too fast to wait. Technology will continue transforming the market, and the question you must ask yourself is, will I watch change happen, or will I be part of it? Being intelligent is not enough to succeed. For years, I believed that the most successful people were those with the highest technical knowledge. But throughout my journey, I realized that the real differentiator is not IQ, but EQ, emotional intelligence. Knowing how to deal with people, build relationships, and motivate a team is what truly makes a difference in the business world. I was never the smartest, and I was never the best student. But one thing I knew, if I could inspire the right people and create an environment where they gave their best, we could build something great. Companies are not just made of technology and processes. They are made of people. And people need to feel valued to deliver their best. A great leader does not command, he inspires. Some believe that being emotionally strong means hiding emotions. But that's wrong. Being emotionally intelligent means knowing how to manage your emotions and understand those of others. During Alibaba's toughest moments, my ability to stay calm and give my team hope was more valuable than any technical skill. If you can't control your emotions, they will control you. Beyond EQ, there is something I call LQ, the intelligence of love. If you want to be respected, you need to show that you care. When I started Alibaba, I said our customers came first, our employees second, and our shareholders third. Many investors didn't like this philosophy, but I didn't care. Successful businesses are not just those that make money, but those that create real impact in people's lives. So think about this. You can be brilliant, knowledgeable, and experienced. But if you don't know how to connect with those around you, your success will be limited. The future belongs to those who know how to work in teams, inspire trust, and build genuine relationships. Are you developing your EQ as much as your IQ? In business, we talk a lot about IQ and EQ, but there is an even more important intelligence, LQ, the intelligence of love. The world needs more leaders who know how to care for people, not just profits. When I founded Alibaba, my goal wasn't just to build a giant company, but to create an ecosystem where small businesses could thrive. I believed that if we helped others succeed, our success would be inevitable. The leaders who leave a legacy are not the richest or the most powerful, but those who positively impact people's lives. I always said, Customers first, employees second, and shareholders third. Many investors thought this approach was naive, but I knew that if we treated our customers and employees well, the money would come naturally. Leading with love is not a weakness, it's a smart strategy. Many businesses fail because they forget they are dealing with human beings. No matter how innovative your product is or how efficient your team is, if you don't create a culture of respect and empathy, your company will never be sustainable. In the long run, successful businesses are not the ones that sell the most, but the ones that win people's hearts. A satisfied customer brings 10 more. A motivated employee delivers 10 times more. The same applies to personal life. Strong relationships are built on respect and trust. If you don't know how to love and care for people, you will never be a great leader. Machines can perform complex calculations, but they cannot replace the human touch. In the future, the most valuable people will be those who can do what technology cannot: inspire, connect, and transform. So the big question is not just whether you are intelligent or emotionally balanced, but rather, do you have LQ? Do you genuinely care about the people around you? Because in the end, real success is not just measured by the money you make, but by the impact you create. I have always admired Forrest Gump. Some people watch the movie and see just a simple man running, but I see something deeper: determination, resilience, and an unshakable belief in moving forward no matter what happens. Forrest never questioned whether something was possible. He just did it. And that mindset, I believe, is what leads to success. When I started Alibaba, I wasn't the smartest or the most experienced entrepreneur. Many people told me that I had no chance, that China was not ready for e-commerce, that I should stick to teaching English. But I remembered Forrest Gump. He didn't stop to argue. He just kept running. If you keep moving forward, life has a way of surprising you. The business world is full of complications. People overanalyze, hesitate, and let fear stop them. But sometimes, simplicity is the ultimate advantage. I wasn't a technology expert, but I saw an opportunity in the internet. I didn't know how to code, but I knew how to bring people together. Sometimes, you don't need to be the smartest person in the room. You just need to be the one who refuses to give up. There were many times when Alibaba could have failed. Many times when the easiest choice was to quit. But every time I thought about stopping, I reminded myself of Forrest Gump's famous words: "Run, Forrest, run." In business and in life, success doesn't come from standing still and waiting for the perfect moment. It comes from constantly moving forward, even when you don't know exactly where the road will lead. So, ask yourself, are you overthinking your next step? Are you hesitating because things seem too complicated? Maybe it's time to stop doubting and start running. Because, just like Forrest Gump, those who keep moving, despite everything, are the ones who eventually reach their destination. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of it. I have failed so many times that I lost count. I was rejected by dozens of companies, failed my university entrance exams multiple times, and even when I started Alibaba, nobody believed in us. But I never let failure stop me. Instead, I treated it as a lesson. Every failure brings a message. If you listen carefully, you'll find the key to your next success. One of the biggest mistakes people make is being afraid to fail. They avoid risks, hesitate to try new things, and fear looking foolish. But if you want to achieve something great, you must be willing to fail. I always asked myself, what can I learn from this mistake? How can I improve next time? If you can answer those questions, failure becomes your greatest teacher. When Alibaba was struggling, we didn't give up. Instead, we changed our approach, learned from our mistakes, and kept moving forward. I often say, when you fail, don't blame others. Look in the mirror and ask, what can I do better? Successful people don't dwell on failures. They analyze them, adapt, and try again. The ones who succeed are not the smartest or the luckiest, but those who refuse to give up. Many people admire successful entrepreneurs, but few pay attention to how many times they failed before reaching the top. If you study the biggest companies in the world, you'll see they all made mistakes. What matters is how you respond. Will you let failure define you, or will you use it as fuel to become stronger? So here's my challenge to you. Stop fearing failure. Instead, embrace it, learn from it, and use it to grow. Because in the end, the ones who win are simply those who failed the most and kept going anyway. The world never stops changing, and neither should you. When we started Alibaba, our business model had to change at least 18 times in the early years. Why? Because what worked yesterday was no guarantee it would work tomorrow. The companies that survive are not the biggest or the strongest. They are the ones that adapt the fastest. Many businesses fail because they get too comfortable. They assume that success today means success forever. But the truth is, what made you successful in the past may be the very thing that holds you back in the future. Think about companies like Kodak or Blockbuster. They dominated their industries until they refused to change. The moment you stop evolving, you start dying. Change is scary. It forces you out of your comfort zone and into the unknown. But I have always believed that if you don't embrace change, change will force itself upon you, often in ways you won't like. When Alibaba saw the rise of mobile commerce, we didn't resist it. We adapted, even though it meant completely transforming our business. The result? We stayed ahead while others fell behind. One of the most important lessons I learned is that change is not a threat. It is an opportunity. Every major shift in business, technology, or consumer behavior creates new chances for those who are paying attention. While others fear change, successful entrepreneurs ask, how can I use this to grow? If you can train your mind to see change as a door rather than a wall, you will always find a way forward. So let me ask you, are you resisting change or are you adapting? Because the future does not belong to those who stand still. It belongs to those who have the courage to keep moving forward, even when everything around them is uncertain. I was a teacher before I became an entrepreneur, and one thing I know for sure is that education is the foundation of any successful society. But the world is changing so fast that traditional education is struggling to keep up. We are still teaching our kids the way we did 100 years ago, but the jobs of the future will require skills that machines cannot replace. Creativity, empathy, and critical thinking will be more valuable than memorization. One of my biggest concerns is that many schools prepare students for jobs that will no longer exist. I often say, 50% of the jobs we have today will disappear in the next 20 years. But don't be afraid. New jobs will be created, ones we can't even imagine yet. The question is, are we preparing young people for this new world? Are we teaching them how to think, how to adapt, and how to solve real problems? At Alibaba, I saw firsthand that knowledge alone is not enough. Some of our best employees were not the ones with the highest grades, but the ones with the best mindset. The ability to keep learning, to stay curious, and to adapt is far more important than any degree. That's why I believe schools should focus more on teamwork, leadership, and problem solving instead of just exams and tests. In developing countries, education is even more critical. I have traveled to many places where young people have enormous potential but lack access to quality learning. This is why I believe technology must play a role in education. The internet is the great equalizer. It gives a poor child in a village the same access to knowledge as a student in a top university. We must use it wisely. So I ask you, what are you doing to keep learning? Are you relying only on formal education? Or are you actively seeking new skills every day? In a world where change happens faster than ever, those who never stop learning will be the ones who lead the future. Leadership is not about power or authority. It's about vision and responsibility. Many people think being a leader means giving orders, but true leadership is about inspiring others to believe in something bigger than themselves. When I started Alibaba, I didn't want to be the CEO just to have a title. I wanted to lead because I had a vision for the future, and I needed people to believe in it with me. A great leader is not the smartest person in the room, but the one who can bring out the best in others. Early in my journey, one of my investors told me, "Jack, you should step down as CEO because you don't know how to be one." I didn't listen. I knew leadership wasn't about knowing everything. It was about bringing the right people together and creating an environment where they could succeed. Many businesses fail because their leaders focus only on short-term profits. But real success comes from having a mission that goes beyond money. At Alibaba, we always said, customers first, employees second, and shareholders third. Why? Because if we took care of our customers and employees, the profits would take care of themselves. Purpose-driven leadership builds companies that last. The best leaders don't just build businesses, they build people. I have always believed that the true measure of leadership is not how many followers you have, but how many leaders you create. This is why I always encouraged my team to think big, take risks, and grow beyond their job descriptions. When people feel valued and empowered, they give their best. So, the real question is, do you want to be a boss or do you want to be a leader? Because anyone can give orders, but only true leaders can inspire others to achieve something extraordinary. Many people dream of building something big, but they forget that great things always start small. When I founded Alibaba, we didn't have fancy offices, millions of dollars, or a detailed business plan. We had just 18 people working in a small apartment with a shared dream. If we had waited for the perfect conditions, we would never have started. Success is not about giant leaps. It's about consistent small steps in the right direction. One of the biggest mistakes entrepreneurs make is wanting to grow too fast. They see big companies and want to reach that level overnight. But I always say, before you build a skyscraper, make sure you have a strong foundation. Even Alibaba, which became a global giant, took years to build trust, develop technology, and understand our customers. Small steps do not mean thinking small. You should have a big dream, but the execution must be practical. I have seen many startups fail because they tried to do too much too soon. Instead of focusing on sustainable growth, they burned out. The key to long-term success is taking steady, calculated steps, learning, adjusting, and improving along the way. Think about how nature works. A tree does not grow to its full height in one day. It takes time, sunlight, and patience. The same is true for businesses, careers, and personal growth. If you want to be successful, don't rush. Focus on making daily progress, even if it seems small. Over time, those small efforts compound into something extraordinary. So let me ask you, are you focusing on the process, or are you just chasing the result? Because those who master the art of small steps eventually go further than those who only dream of big leaps. If you have a big dream, be prepared. People will criticize you. When I started Alibaba, many people laughed at me. They said, "Jack, you don't understand technology. You don't have the right background. Your idea will never work." But I learned something important. The bigger your vision, the louder the criticism. If you let it stop you, you'll never achieve anything great. The truth is, most people are afraid of things they don't understand. They will doubt you, not because you are wrong, but because they can't see what you see. That's why I always tell entrepreneurs, Don't waste time trying to convince everyone. Focus on proving them wrong through action. If we had listened to the critics, Alibaba would have never existed. Not all criticism is bad. Some feedback can help you grow, but you must learn to filter it. Ask yourself, is this person giving me advice based on experience, or are they just afraid of change? Successful people don't ignore criticism. They learn from it, but they don't let it define them. I have seen many talented people give up because of negativity from others. But here's a secret. Nobody criticizes those who do nothing. If people are talking about you, it means you're doing something that matters. The most important thing is to stay focused on your mission and not let doubt from others become doubt within yourself. So ask yourself, are you listening to those who lift you up or those who hold you back? Because in the end, the only opinion that truly matters is the one you have about your own potential. Smart people learn from their own mistakes, but wise people, they learn from the mistakes of others. When I started Alibaba, I didn't just study successful companies. I studied failed ones. I wanted to know why businesses collapsed, what mistakes leaders made, and how I could avoid falling into the same traps. Many entrepreneurs focus only on success stories, but that's dangerous. When you only study winners, you get a false sense of security. You think, if I just copy them, I will succeed too. But the real world doesn't work that way. Every business is different, every market is different, and what worked for someone else may not work for you. That's why understanding failures is just as important as understanding success. Look at companies like Nokia and Yahoo. At one time, they were giants, but they failed to adapt. They ignored warning signs and resisted change. If you analyze their downfall, you'll see patterns: complacency, slow decision-making, fear of innovation. These lessons are gold for anyone who wants to build something that lasts. One of the best ways to grow is to surround yourself with experienced people, people who have failed and learned from it. I always tell young entrepreneurs, don't just ask successful people what they did right. Ask them what they did wrong. Their mistakes can save you years of struggle. So the question is, are you willing to learn from others' failures, or do you insist on making every mistake yourself? Because the fastest way to succeed is to avoid the mistakes that have already been made. Change is scary. It forces you into the unknown, disrupts your comfort zone, and makes you question everything you thought was certain. But here's a fact. The only thing more dangerous than change is refusing to change. When I started Alibaba, I knew nothing about technology, e-commerce, or running a company. If I had let my fear stop me, we would have never built one of the largest companies in the world. Many people resist change because they believe they are not ready. They wait for the perfect moment, when they have more experience, more knowledge, or more confidence. But the perfect moment never comes. When we started Alibaba, we changed our business model at least 18 times. We had no choice. The market was evolving, customer needs were shifting, and if we didn't adapt, we would have failed. Think about the companies that once ruled the world but disappeared because they refused to change. Blockbuster, Kodak, Yahoo. They were too comfortable. They believed their success would last forever. But the world doesn't care about your past achievements. It only cares about how well you adapt to the future. The moment you stop evolving is the moment you start declining. I always tell young entrepreneurs, if you don't embrace change, change will force itself upon you. The business world is moving faster than ever. Technology is transforming industries at an incredible speed. Artificial intelligence, automation, digital platforms, these are not future trends. They are today's reality. Those who fear change will be left behind, but those who embrace it will find endless opportunities. So how do you overcome the fear of change? The answer is simple. You start moving before you feel ready. You take small steps, you experiment, you learn from failures, and you adapt quickly. The people who succeed are not the ones who avoid change, but the ones who make change work in their favor. The real question is, are you going to wait for change to happen to you, or will you take control and shape your own future? So, people love to complicate things. They believe that success requires complex strategies, expensive technology, and detailed plans. But I've learned that simplicity is often the most powerful advantage you can have. When I started Alibaba, I wasn't a tech genius. I didn't have an MBA. But I understood something important. Business is simple. If you help people solve a problem, they will pay you for it. Many entrepreneurs get lost in details. They spend years perfecting their products, tweaking their strategies, and analyzing the market. But they forget the most important question. Does this actually help people? If your idea is too complicated for people to understand, it's probably not a good idea. The best businesses are built on simple concepts. Amazon sells convenience, Apple sells design, and Alibaba helps small businesses grow. I often think about Forrest Gump, a character I admire. People called him simple-minded, but his strength was his ability to focus on what truly mattered. He didn't overthink. He just took action. When others hesitated, he moved forward. That's how I approached business. I didn't try to make Alibaba perfect. I just started. And we improved along the way. Look at the most successful companies today. Google, one search bar. Apple, simple, elegant products. Tesla, electric cars that are easy to use. Complexity creates confusion. Simplicity creates success. The same applies to leadership. A great leader doesn't need fancy words or complicated strategies. A great leader makes things clear, removes obstacles, and helps people move forward. So here's my advice. Stop overcomplicating your journey. Whether you're starting a business, developing a new skill, or leading a team, focus on what truly matters. Strip away the unnecessary. The simpler your approach, the easier it will be to take action, adapt, and succeed. Ask yourself, are you making things more difficult than they need to be? Because sometimes the fastest way to move forward is to let go of what's holding you back. When I started Alibaba, I wasn't thinking only about making money. I was thinking about making a difference. I wanted to create something that would help small businesses, something that would give ordinary people opportunities they never had before. That's why I always say, true success is not measured by how much money you make, but by how many lives you improve. The greatest businesses in the world are not just about profits, they solve real problems. Amazon makes shopping easier, Tesla fights climate change, and Alibaba helps small businesses grow. If you want to build something meaningful, don't just think about what you can gain. Think about how you can help others. The more people you help, the more successful you will become. Many entrepreneurs focus only on their local market, but the world is more connected than ever. Technology allows you to reach customers across borders, cultures, and industries. If you limit your thinking to just one country, you're missing out on incredible opportunities. That's why I always encourage young people, don't just think locally, think globally. At Alibaba, we saw how e-commerce could change lives. Farmers in rural China, who once struggled to sell their products, could suddenly reach customers all over the world. Small shop owners could compete with big corporations. That's the power of the internet. It levels the playing field. But technology alone is not enough. You need the vision to use it in a way that truly benefits people. So here's my challenge to you. Don't just chase personal success. Think about the impact you can create. How can your work, your business, or your skills contribute to a better world? Because in the end, the greatest entrepreneurs are not just those who build companies, but those who build a future worth living in. The future belongs to young people. When I look at the next generation, I don't just see students or employees. I see future leaders, innovators, and change makers. But the question is, are we giving them the right tools to succeed? Because the world is changing faster than ever, and the skills of yesterday will not be enough for tomorrow. I often tell young people, you have more opportunities than I ever had. When I was starting out, China had no internet, no digital economy, no global connectivity. But today, young people have smartphones, AI, blockchain, and access to knowledge from anywhere in the world. The real challenge is not lack of opportunity. It's having the courage to take advantage of it. One of my biggest concerns is how education prepares young people. Schools teach how to memorize facts, but they don't teach creativity, teamwork, or resilience. But in the future, machines will replace repetitive jobs. The most valuable skills will be emotional intelligence, critical thinking, and the ability to adapt. That's why I believe education needs to change. We must teach young people how to think, not just what to think. At Alibaba, we made it a mission to empower young entrepreneurs. We invested in small startups, gave them access to technology, and helped them scale their businesses. Because when young people succeed, economies grow. I always tell governments and business leaders, if you want to build a strong future, invest in young people today. So if you are young, here's my advice. Don't wait for someone to give you permission to succeed. The world is full of possibilities, but only for those who take action. Learn continuously, take risks, and most importantly, believe in yourself. Because in the end, the next great leaders will not be the ones who followed old rules, but the ones who dared to create new ones. Entrepreneurship is not just about starting a business, it's about solving problems. The best entrepreneurs don't chase money, they chase solutions. And as the world changes, the biggest opportunities will belong to those who can see problems as possibilities. If you want to succeed in the future, don't ask, how can I make money? Instead, ask, how can I create value? Because money follows value. The next generation of entrepreneurs will be different. In the past, business success was about connections, factories, and large investments. But today, a single person with a laptop can build a company that reaches millions. Technology has lowered the barriers to entry. E-commerce, AI, blockchain, and digital platforms have made it possible for anyone, anywhere, to start something. The question is, are you ready to take advantage of these tools? One of the biggest mistakes entrepreneurs make is focusing only on short-term profits. But the best businesses are built for the long term. When we started Alibaba, we didn't make money for the first few years. Investors laughed at us, but we kept going because we believed in the future of e-commerce. Today, people call us lucky. But luck is just preparation meeting opportunity. The world is moving fast, and industries are transforming overnight. If you want to be a successful entrepreneur, you must always be learning, always adapting, always innovating. The businesses that fail are the ones that resist change. The businesses that succeed are the ones that embrace it. Look at Tesla, Airbnb, and even TikTok. None of these existed 20 years ago, but their founders saw a future that others didn't. So here's my challenge to you. Are you thinking like an entrepreneur? Whether you want to start a business, grow in your career, or create something new, the future belongs to those who take risks and solve problems. The opportunities are there. The question is, will you take them? Many people talk about the future as if it's something distant, something that will arrive one day. But I believe the future is not coming, it's already here. When I started Alibaba, e-commerce was just an idea. The internet was slow, and nobody believed small businesses could sell online. But we knew that technology doesn't wait for people to be ready. You have to be ready for technology. Today, we are living in the most exciting time in history. AI, automation, and digital platforms are changing the way we work, shop, and communicate. But while some people see this as a threat, I see it as an opportunity. The future will not be decided by governments or big corporations. It will be shaped by those who take action today. The question is, are you paying attention? One mistake people make is believing that the opportunities of tomorrow belong only to big companies. But the truth is, technology has leveled the playing field. A young entrepreneur with a smartphone can reach more customers than a billion-dollar company did 30 years ago. The secret is not to be the biggest. The secret is to be the fastest. Those who adapt quickly will lead, while those who hesitate will be left behind. When I talk to young people, I tell them, don't wait for the future to happen to you. Create it. The next big companies, the next innovations, the next breakthroughs will not come from those who sit back and watch. They will come from those who take risks, embrace technology, and believe in their vision even when others don't. If you think the world is changing fast now, just wait. In the next 10 years, the world will change more than it has in the past 100. So my advice is simple. Start now. Whatever your dream is, whatever impact you want to make, the tools are already in your hands. The future is not something you wait for. It's something you build. The question is, will you be the one building it? The world of business is changing faster than ever before. The days when only big corporations controlled the market are gone. The future of entrepreneurship belongs to those who are agile, innovative, and unafraid to challenge traditional ways of thinking. If you understand this, you will not only survive, you will thrive. In the past, entrepreneurs needed large investments, physical stores, and strong industry connections. But today, anyone with an internet connection can start a business. Whether you're selling handmade products, offering services, or building the next big tech platform, the barriers to entry have never been lower. The real question is, are you willing to take the risk? One of the most exciting things about the future is that creativity is becoming more valuable than capital. AI, automation, and digital platforms are changing the way businesses operate, but they cannot replace human creativity. The best entrepreneurs will not be those who have the most money, but those who have the best ideas and the courage to execute them. However, with great opportunity comes great responsibility. The future will not be kind to those who refuse to learn, adapt, and grow. The skills that made people successful 20 years ago will not be enough for the next 20 years. That's why I always tell young entrepreneurs, never stop learning, never stop evolving, never stop questioning how things can be done better. Because the moment you stop learning, you start falling behind. So, what does this mean for you? It means that now is the best time in history to be an entrepreneur. The tools, resources, and global reach available today were unimaginable just a few decades ago. The only thing standing between you and success is your willingness to take action. The future is not something to wait for. It's something to create. The question is, are you ready to build yours?
Jack Ma has always been a master of seeing what others overlook. His journey from a rejected job applicant to the founder of Alibaba is not just a business success story, it's a blueprint for anyone who dreams big but faces obstacles. In this powerful talk, Jack Ma revealed the mindset that separates those who wish for success from those who create it. Many people believe success is about luck, intelligence, or having the right connections. But Jack Ma has a different message. Success is built on mindset, resilience, and the ability to adapt. He openly shares his failures, being rejected 30 times from jobs, failing his university exams, and being turned down by investors. And yet, those failures did not stop him. They shaped him. One of the most surprising insights from Jack Ma is that failure is not something to be feared. It is a stepping stone. He explains how he turned rejection into fuel, how persistence is more valuable than talent, and why your ability to keep moving forward is what truly determines your success. If you've ever felt discouraged by setbacks, this talk will change the way you see failure forever. Jack Ma also challenges the way we think about intelligence. While most people focus on IQ, he introduces the concept of EQ, emotional intelligence, and LQ, love intelligence, explaining why the most successful leaders are not just the smartest, but the ones who can inspire, connect, and lead with purpose. Beyond personal growth, Jack Ma shares his vision for the future of entrepreneurship. With technology creating new opportunities every day, he warns that the biggest risk is standing still. He explains why small businesses can now compete with global giants, why innovation is the key to survival, and how the future belongs to those who embrace change rather than fear it. But perhaps the most powerful lesson from Jack Ma is this: luck is not something you wait for, it's something you create. By taking risks, learning from failure, and staying adaptable, anyone can build their own path to success. His words are a wake-up call for anyone who has ever doubted their potential. So, if you're tired of waiting for the perfect moment, and ready to take control of your future, this is the mindset shift you need. Get ready to see success from a completely new perspective, because the future is not something you wait for, it's something you build. Now that you've seen the mindset that shaped Jack Ma's success, the question is, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you let fear, doubt, or failure hold you back? Or will you take action, embrace change, and start building your own success story? Success is not reserved for the lucky or the privileged. It belongs to those who persist when others quit, learn when others complain, and take risks when others hesitate. Jack Ma's journey proves that the difference between success and failure is not intelligence or resources, it's resilience and adaptability. Which lesson resonated most with you? Was it the power of persistence? The importance of emotional intelligence? Or the idea that small steps lead to big results? Comment below and share your thoughts. Your insights might inspire someone else on their journey. And remember, this is not just information. It's a roadmap. Rewatch this video whenever you need motivation, apply these lessons to your life, and most importantly, take action. Because nothing changes until you do. If you found value in this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel. You might not find it again later, and the best way to keep learning is to stay connected. Hit the notification bell so you never miss another powerful insight. And don't stop here. Watch the next video where we dive even deeper into the strategies that create unstoppable success.